What's going on, guys? It's Cimo, and today I am joined by a very special guest, none other known as RescueCatDuelist. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to all our fans here, why don't you go ahead and do that?
I mainly make comics on Facebook, on the Facebook page RescueCatDuelist, and they are quite cute and funny, and sometimes I upload a video, but I'm not going to promise anything.
And you have quite a following on there, too. You have like 7,200 likes on your Facebook page or something like that, don't you?
Yeah, it's pretty good, considering I basically just started from nothing.
I know, that's pretty impressive. And you did used to make, you are a Yugi tuber of your own to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully in a few days I'll start uploading. It's mainly a thing of some of the points that we're probably going to get to in the video, and also a mixture of not having any equipment.
Yeah, so, it's a good combination, but, that's just going to get us right into today's video topic, which is sexism in Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's why I wanted to have RescueCat join us today, because being a female duelist in a heavily male-dominated, realm such as Yu-Gi-Oh!, I feel like it's better if RescueCat can give us some very good insight into what it's actually like to be a female player, in this type of space. So let me start off by asking you, do you think men and women are treated equally in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community?
That's not at all. Not even in the same realms. There are people that treat you similarly, but honestly, they are in a minority. Mm-hmm. And you when you find them, you gotta hold on to them because they're really good people. Both for positive and negative reasons. It's just no.
Well, so go into some of those reasons. So what immediately, I guess, if you have any experiences at locals or events or anything like that, what comes to mind when you think of that inequality there?
It's the thing that gets to me the most is it sometimes happens with trades, but more often happens when you're actually playing. I'll be in a top cut and I'll be playing against someone, and they'll just explain everything they're doing like I'm an idiot.
Oh my god!
I'm just I know what I'm in the top cut for a reason. I know what you're doing. It was Necros format, and this guy was playing Necros. Obviously, that deck had been around for a year at this point. Mm-hmm. And I'm in top 8, and he's no, I don't think I think maybe we were on the bubble or something, but he's explaining everything he's doing, and I'm we're gonna go into time at this rate, hurry up. And then he makes the Exciton play, discard Bryonic, chain Exciton, does that, and I'm just he tries to make it, and I'm you think I'm an idiot? This is the worst thing ever. You're actually looking at me is she going to notice? I'm yeah, of course I'm going to notice.
So not only does he
that was really stupid.
So not only does he see you as an inferior in terms of intellect, but he also is trying to purposely cheat.
Yeah. The purposeful cheating is a thing that happens. It's kind of rare, but the thinking I'm stupid happens all the time.
Yeah.
And though it is good for me because it means I'll just annihilate any of these people stupid enough to take me to not take me seriously, but yeah, it does suck.
So why do you think that happens? Why do you think that just because you're a woman that people think you don't know what you're doing in this game?
Well, nothing against the girls who are like this, because I have honestly nothing against casual players, and I think if they can be happy playing the game, then fair on them, because most meta players are not even happy playing the game. But a lot of girls that turn up to events are just girlfriends that are tagging along, who don't know the game very well, or who will quit as soon as their boyfriend quits or doesn't want to play or whatever. And I've met a lot of them. And it's kind of sad when they quit just because their boyfriend has or whatever, because I want to see more girls playing the game.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm getting somewhere, and then they just quit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think people just assume you're one of those hanger-ons, and I've been dating Jamie for a long time now. Mm-hmm. And
Jamie the Kid 00 for those people who don't know.
We met through Yu-Gi-Oh, but I feel like people assume I am only playing because he is, but I've been playing for ages.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah, I think there definitely is that stigma that if you see a woman at a Yu-Gi-Oh event that like she's typically like with someone. And it's like, because you see, like, I mean, if you go to like a YCS or hell, even like a regionals, like there's usually like a few women that are playing, but primarily, I mean, it's like 96% like Sausage Fest, like the whole time.
Yeah.
And like, so what I wanted to ask you is, what do you think are like the biggest barriers for women to play this game? Like, it's obviously not a matter of like it's too difficult, because there are plenty of women that play this game, but obviously there's a huge discrepancy from when it comes to like male to female ratio. So like if you had to name like your top 3 reasons, like what do you feel like are the biggest barriers for like why like women don't want to play this game?
One of them is like the immediate like alienation of, I can remember my first few times walking into a locals, and it was awful. Like,
how so?
Even if they're nice people, it's like the room turns around and looks at you as soon as you actually get out a binder or get out a deck box and a mat or whatever. Because, like, I'm just obviously completely different to everyone there. And, like, I wouldn't feel safe going to a big event alone. And I don't know whether that's because I have like public profile and people come up to the events and know who I am and stuff.
Right.
But like, there is no way I would just turn up to Nats and leave like someone would, just meeting up with their friends. Like, I wouldn't go alone. I'd have to be with a party and know where they are the whole time. Just because the community can be a bit gross.
Yeah, so like you actually feel uncomfortable going to an event by yourself just because of essentially because of the way like the community acts around women for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I've posted in a trading page like pretty much like just whatever, like oh, I need these cards, you know, PM me, whatever. And then I'll go to an event the next day and these cards will be on my table and I don't know who put them there, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like, that's just that's not safe. Like, I'm really grateful, but that's not safe. Like, I can't just, like, there are people who know who I am and I have no idea who they are.
Yeah, so it's just like you almost have like these like just random, you know, shady people. I mean, sure, like maybe some of them are just being nice, but I mean, I would probably say like if a majority, you know, of any, you know, males were to like do that, I don't think, you know, the cards they're asking for would be sitting on the table for them, you know, the next day.
Yeah.
That's probably something that like not a lot of, you know, guys have experienced. Maybe there's some, I don't know. I mean, you know, there's a big, you know, gay population as well in Yu-Gi-Oh, so who knows.
Yeah.
But
and like the messages obviously just make it pretty like clear that you might be unsafe if you go to an event on your own.
Messages meaning how? Like what do you like messages you receive online, or like like how do you mean?
Just mainly just social media messages, and again they're mostly through my page, so I don't know
Sure.
if most girls would get that because they, I don't know, would be less exposed to people.
Right.
But some of them are just like straight up like rapey and like you wouldn't put it past them to just kidnap you basically in an event. So
that's like,
you gotta be careful.
that's like so terrifying that like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, that like I guess that like someone like you, or like really any woman who like wants to play this game, has to be like forced into a position like that, you know, they not only feel uncomfortable playing, but they're being harassed online, and they're not even like at like a venue or something. Like doing it in person obviously is, you know, almost just taking it a step further than that. But like if you're harassing someone like you online, just like you would in real life, I mean, you're equally at fault. And obviously, like, I think as a Yu-Gi-Oh community, like, you know, this is pretty much going out to the men. Like, we need to, like, make women feel, like, inclusive. Like, we don't want to, you know, ostracize women from, like, wanting to play the game because of our behavior. Like, we want to make it, like, a fun environment. But I think, like, as it currently stands, you know, it's a very heavily male-dominated environment, and because of that, and because of the way some people behave, like, you know, it actually just, you know, repels some women from wanting to play, even if they love the game. They could absolutely love the game, and they just can't go play because it's like you said, they don't feel safe, and they feel like they're going to be harassed. I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what it's pretty much sounding like.
Yeah, and I think it's also this, like, it's weird. It's similar with, like, having dyed hair in public. It's like people feel like they have permission to come up and talk to you and just like be very, very friendly with you in a way that you're not generally with someone you've never talked to.
Friendly.
Yeah, it's like this. Yeah, it's like I'll get on the bus and some old lady will be like, "Oh, you have pink hair. Time for me to talk to you about that for like 9 years." I have no idea who you are.
Back in my day.
Yeah, it's similar to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like being different. Often people feel like that gives them permission to be maybe a bit inappropriate.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, like, I imagine that you've had friends as well, you know, that are girls that have also, like, you know, they might have been phased out of the game for the very same reason, or they didn't want to get into it because, like, you know, you might have told them stuff that you've experienced.
Yeah.
For the same reason.
Yeah, I used to try and get a lot of my female friends to play, and even if they enjoyed playing the game for, like, a short while just with me,
right,
they just won't get into it, and I've just stopped trying because honestly it's such a bad community that I don't want that for them anyway,
right,
because I'm not really sure.
I think that sends such a strong message that, like, you're saying that you as a woman don't want to tell your female friends to play this game because you know how bad it is. Like, that sounds just horrible. Like, if you just take that at face value, but I mean, it's a sad reality that I think our community's facing, and I feel like it's something that we shouldn't be brushing under the rug anymore, and we really need to, like, face this as an issue, because if we want the community to grow, and I know you and I specifically want this community to grow and thrive, as males and females alike, but especially females, because of there's such a heavy discrepancy between the two. I feel like this is something that collectively, like, you know, we need to have a mentality shift here and really, like, see, like, how we can, you know, like, the fact that I even have to make this video, like, just goes to show, like that this is an issue. Like, if you, like, were to give, like, a message to, like, I guess, like, the community as a whole, or, like, what would you, like, suggest would be, like, the best thing, like, moving forward that, like, collectively we need to do to pretty much move past this and make this, like, better for everyone, especially women, though?
Okay, so probably treat a girl like you would anyone, like, just with respect, and acknowledge that if you as an individual think that girl's hot or something, and you want to get with a girl who plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever, your actions will, like, have a bigger effect than you think they will. So if you're unpleasant or inappropriate, I think is a better word, to a girl that turns up to your locals, she won't come back. Like, that's, like, people just won't come back if they have a bad experience somewhere. Like, it's the same for everything with retail or whatever. You have to make a good first impression. If you see a girl turn up to your locals and you scare her off with something you've done that is inappropriate or forward, she won't tell her friends to come, and then that kind of thing. Like, it's a whole chain reaction of, like, one person's actions can really ruin it for a person. But like, at the same time as, like, treat them the same, I think we're so ingrained in not having girls that it's almost like girls have to be a special exception for certain things. And this is mainly on me because I didn't confront it at the time, but, like, I will have problems at an event where, like, just the facilities have not really been there for me. Like I almost got game loss at an event. The only reason I didn't get a game loss was because I knew the judge who was overlooking my game, but I almost got a game loss for turning up late after I told everyone, I have to go, I'm on my period. This is, like, I have to go in between every round. Wow. And I've almost got a game loss for it. And it's like...
And that's, like, discrimination.
Yeah, I cannot help this. And there's nothing in place for me here, because you just don't consider girls normal enough to have that, like, to have it obvious anyway. Like, I kind of feel like that kind of thing should just be standard protocol, but it's not, because I'm the special one. Yeah. But I don't know. I should have been more outspoken about it, to be honest.
But in addition to that, though, like, that's so awkward that like you even have to like have that discussion with someone, and that you actually almost have to like plead your case, like that's the thing. Like that's no different than someone who has like any sort of like disability or anything like that, that just needs like, that's just borderline discrimination at that point. Because if that person has, a physical disorder, a mental disorder, anything like that, that they need, especially just like in a game that's, rather like very stringent on time, like that's, that just pretty much plays into this whole thing that, the fact that something we're not even considering that for women, or I mean, it goes probably beyond that too, to people with disabilities as well, but that's another discussion. Like, I mean, that just goes to show how, like, we really need to, like, take a second look at how we're considering a lot of different things and, like, really kind of evolve from that and, like, make sure that, we are accommodating as a community to those types of needs. Because it's like you said, if you're in a male-dominated community, something like that, it's something that doesn't come up. But the fact that that just makes it even more... Absolutely, it just makes it more uncomfortable for you, which then makes your experience less pleasant, and then it just snowballs, and then like you never want to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of nerds are like anxious. So if I was a less kind of, well, at the time apparently I was, but if I was a less outspoken person, I would have been way too embarrassed to even mention anything, and then I would have had a game loss, and then I might have. Like, if it was a bigger event, who knows, it could have led to a disqualification over the course of the day.
Right.
And, like, that's awful. Like, just because someone's shy, like, they'd rather just drop out and not attend.
Yeah.
Just because it's not obvious protocol, which it would be. Like, in literally any other medium, it would be totally normal for them to have something in place for women like that. I don't know. It's like... respect that women exist, but treat them the same as men. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like you brought up a really good point as well in regards to the whole topic of like women being the exception in our game, because it's like kind of like this is something that bugs me personally, because I don't know how like women feel about it, but you can give your insight on this. So like when I see that there's like a small minority of players, for instance, that have like those like anime playmats that basically just have like girls just like flaunting like every part of their body and things like that. Like if I were a woman, like I would just find that as like, that's just kind of just plays into the whole like heteromasculine, this environment that we're playing in. And, like, again, like, when going back to the whole idea of, respecting women, things like that, which, God forbid, respecting women, common sense, like, that to me just, like, if you're playing into the whole thing, even if you're not, like, saying anything, or even if you don't even believe that, but by even just having this playmat that's just a non-verbal way of communicating with someone, like, that just goes to show, like, that, something like that makes, women uncomfortable, at least I would like to believe that would. Yeah. And I don't really think that... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's that thing of one person's actions can easily completely throw someone off.
Yeah.
Like, one bad experience is all it takes for a girl to never come back. And if they walk into a locals and the first thing they see is that playmat, they're probably just gonna like turn around and walk straight out.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And that's like, with the whole thing of women being the exception, when you see like a woman top an event or something, it's like you're watching, the Discovery Channel, and like they're like talking like, we have a woman who just topped a YCS. Like, it's like this fucking event, because like, she's a woman, so like, oh, because she's a woman, she topped, like, so it's a big deal. Like, no, if anyone tops, that's an amazing feat, but because she's specifically a woman, we need to make like an extra big deal about it, just because it's like she's almost like the token, or like you were saying, the exception. And
it almost, often I find it almost takes away from their achievement.
Yeah, exactly.
By making it not about the fact that they've done such a great thing,
right?
By the fact that they've done it almost despite being a female. Like, it's hindrance, like you can't be as good for that reason. It's almost like a novelty. Yeah,
because it's like if you have like a top 32 cut, 31 of 32 men topped, and it's like, oh, okay, they topped, but then that one woman, it's like, oh my god, a woman topped? what was she playing? Like, oh my god, like I need to know. Like, it's like you said, it's like a novelty, and I absolutely agree with you that it takes away from it for her, because it's not because of how good she is as a player, it's because she's a woman, and that shouldn't be why this is a good thing. Like, if I see people that top...
It takes away from all that effort you've put in, and it's like attention for completely the wrong reason.
Absolutely.
It does suck when that kind of thing happens. Like, I went on a bit of a binge of just going to like 2 locals every weekend for a really long time. And it was sometimes like people would come up to me after, like, you're a novelty, how did you do this? It's like, well, because I play like everyone else.
It's like, because I'm better than you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely feel like this is a very, like I said, hot point of contention, and there's a lot of growth that we still have. But I mean, I'm very grateful that, you know, you took the time to sit down with me and actually discuss this, because I really feel like a lot of players don't really understand what it's like from the female perspective, because we're just so heavily dominated by male influence that, you know, having the female voice of reason is actually a nice change, because, you know, it's like if I did this video without you, it would just be me kind of spewing stuff, but like, I'm not a woman.
White knight.
Exactly, white knight, SJW, you know, all that. But because you were kind enough to join me and take the time to do so, like, I feel like this is actually going to be very insightful for a lot of people, that like, this is like, the actions that we do, you know, have a very prolific effect. They can make you feel very uncomfortable, and it really, just like I said before, just ostracizes women from wanting to just continue playing the game, and we don't want that. We want, you know, women especially, like, to play this game and to have just as much fun as the rest of us, because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I want this game to be around for a long time, because I love it a lot, and I think the more people we get to play, and the more inclusive as a community we become, I think just the better it is for everyone, because, you know, the game's going to stick around.
Yeah. I was definitely about to say something. Oh yeah, one last thing.
Sure.
I don't want it to sound like most of this is malicious, because most of this happens just based on people having literally no idea that most of these problems even happen. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm glad I might make a video as well or something, but if this one does the job, I won't need to. But, like it's that thing of like, people don't even think to go, oh, maybe we do need to have a women's restroom with, you know, sanitary facilities and that kind of thing. Like, they just don't even, it doesn't even occur to like a lot of people that kind of thing is necessary. Do you know what I mean? It's, I don't know. It's like this thing of being in a bubble and maybe just not realizing, being a bit oblivious. So.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah. It's not malicious. That's my main point.
No, and quite frankly, I don't think a lot of people are going to consider it malicious. I think, you know, the way we went about this video was, you know, very raw, and, you know, very much, you know, you speaking how you feel, and you can't really argue with someone's emotions, especially when they're, you know, pretty rather justified. So... All right, guys. So, RescueCatDuelist, thank you so much for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure to be able to discuss this with you. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video a lot, because obviously it's not the easiest thing in the world for RescueCat to, you know, sit and discuss these types of things, because, you know, it is kind of a subject that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but I really feel like we need to, and we can't really push this under the rug anymore. So let me down in the comments what you guys think we can do as a community to make this community more inclusive, and just to make it better for women, you know, for anyone of any, you know, race, creed, culture, whatever, just to make it better all around. So RescueCatDuelist, thank you again. Check out our channel. I'll put it in the description below, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.